So I'm really excited to record this. I have no idea what I'm gonna say right now, but I just been a couple of weeks, and it's been back and forth, and me trying to get used to this new kind of like stage, trying to figure out. But if the title is something along the lines of I'm a leader, or I'm a boss lady, or something like that, I have no idea how I'm gonna call it yet either. But I wanted to share it with you because it's a pretty big step for me. At least I feel like in my really early career, because I keep feeling like I have multiple years of experience, and I'm about to be 3 years of experience, and it's only been 2 years and a half since I graduated. So it's not a lot of like actually like grown up like adult you're done with college experience, but and I'm really happy that I'm able to do this step, and which I actually kind of had to fight a little bit for it, like I had to work for it, like convince but I'm really happy that it happened, and it's gonna be more official now. So it's like I feel like I can share it now, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna upload this video, but it's in the next couple of weeks, hopefully before the year ends. So I am, and I don't know how to call it because my title is still the same, it's still manufacturing engineer, and I'm still an automation, design automation emphasis, but now I have three direct reports to me. So technically I am a boss because I have three people that report to me, and I'm in charge of their payroll, their hours, and that we are ready for whatever comes that for us is changeovers for the lines. So I have to make sure that we either have the people or we know what we're doing or any changes. So it's really good place that I was able to take the responsibility because it's directly related to what I do. So I design all the automation components, all the new ones, and this team they're called auto tech, so they're in charge of installing all of these components that I designed. So it goes right along the lines of like we work together, and it was just a great opportunity where I could jump in and be like, can I be responsible for this team? And if I was telling you like I kind of had to like really go after it, it was because they were reporting to a specific manager that kind of bundled up a couple years ago, and this manager left the company recently. So it was a perfect opportunity for me to advocate and be like, hey, I can take over this team, and this is why, and like slowly going through that transition. So it was something that I had to like seize the opportunity and go after it, rather than just be like, hey, you got a promotion, or hey, this is your new assignment. So it was a little maybe not typical of like how I got there, but I'm really happy. I've been really excited with all the stuff I've been learning and all the new things that I've been doing the past couple of weeks. And another thing I wanted to mention was that it was challenging, and this is gonna tie up to another video that I'm planning to record, which might go after or before this, I'm not sure yet, on my YouTube channel. But how I manage my time, how I get to do my work, how I get to do Latina engineer, have a house, and just in general like do everything that I do, because sometimes it gets overwhelming, especially with the conference that we just hosted like a month ago. It was a lot of time, and I found myself that I was just working, and then sleeping, and then work again. There was not really like a pause for myself. And this couple, at least November and December, I'm planning on take it more slow for me. My wedding is coming up, so it's just more like, okay, what can I like, it's time to relax. But at the same time, this came on like literally I took over this team the week of the conference. So I was working in the morning. I was trying to, go into these new responsibilities, figuring out what I needed. And on the afternoon, the evenings, I would go home and I would host the conference. And I would send emails back and forth with the speakers, with the sponsors, with everyone. So it was really challenging to be like, I am managing two big things, like one big change in my career and one crazy, amazing but like super busy conference at the same time, on the same week. It was just insane. So, but I couldn't drop either, or I wanted both. So I managed to, at least during that week, manage both and get the most I could, give the most I could. Now the conference is over, so I've been able to focus on this this new role. It's not new, it's just like a mixture of what I did and like now what I'm in charge of. And I've been really enjoying it. So I have 3 employees that direct report to me, and they're in 3 different shifts, so that adds another level of complexity. I have one in first, one in second, one in third, so it's 24/7 that there's someone, an employee that reports to me working. So it has also come with learning, and then how do I answer this, or how do I get this other problem solved, or like how do I communicate, how do I organize a team that I usually never have all three at once. How do you host a meeting with your team when your team is, it's working at completely different times with each other? How do you cover for one when one is missing and you only have three people, and their hours is like, you can't really, they don't overlap. So I've been asking questions to everyone, and I've been, trying to set a plan of like, this is a training that I need, this is a training that my team needs. How can we, what are the responsibilities? Because there was also not like a straight up, like, you just join a company, this is, your training when you start. It was more of like, okay, here you go. And I had not a lot of background. So I had to like kind of research and like ask, and I'm still meeting with people that, there's one of or other engineers that he used to be in charge of this team a couple of years ago before they transitioned into the other manager, the maintenance manager they left. And so my next week, I'm planning to meet with him to understand more of, what is it that we need to look at? What is it that, your priorities? What are the things that, what can I get from him so that I can make my team better from someone that has been in that role before, that has, because also the person that was in charge of this team is no longer there. So I can no longer ask the questions either. I had 1 week to get all the information I could from that person before they left and then take over. So it's been challenging, but it's not been challenging in a bad way. And I feel like even just as far as people management, being a leader, I have learned a lot in the past. I think it's been almost a month now. Yeah, it's been a month, because right now we're on the 20th and I started this transition on Ilu. So that was like the 11th to the 16th. So it's been a month, and I'm really excited and I'm really happy to finally share it. I was just kind of nervous, like, how do I say this? How do I talk about it? How long do I wait? And today I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit down and talk about this. So I'm not sure what else I should be talking about. I probably might do like a share it on my stories and do like a Q&A to see if you have any questions. But I am really happy that I'm able to have this leadership so early in my career. So I have 3 years of experience. I have 2.5 at my first job that I recently left 6 months ago. I've been in this company and in this role for 6 months now, and within 6 months I was able to seize this opportunity and go after it. So I feel like it was really fast after joining this company, and just the fact that you're able to gain that experience and eventually include it into my resume, include it into my LinkedIn profile, that I'm able to do this, because my whole life I've been interested in eventually growing into a leadership position, whether it's an engineering manager position or something like that, but just not staying just as a single individual, because I've always been a natural leader. With Latina Engineer, I organize so many things. So it's something I enjoy, and it's something that I feel that comes natural to me. So I think it was the next step for my job. It's like, okay, you've been an engineer for a couple of years. How can you make that transition? How can you start growing? How can you set yourself so that I can get to where I want to be later? And so I'm really excited about it, and I'm sure I'm going to keep learning through the next couple of weeks. It also comes a challenge that I'm going to Mexico for 2.5 weeks, all through Christmas and New Year's and stuff, to have my wedding. At the same time, I just jump into this role. So I'm also trying to figure that out, how's that going to happen? How's it work? But so far, I've had a really good experience, and I am happy to continue to, just jump into this whole new responsibilities. I was so excited when we were looking at the organizational chart, and I was able to see that it was me and then it was my team right there, and it was just such a it was a moment that I'm probably gonna remember for a while, and maybe through my career. It was the first time that it was just not something I made. Like, for example, Latina Engineer, I have my team, but it's more of like, I created this organization, so it makes sense that you have, you're in charge of a team. But here it's like, I have my job as an engineer, and I'm able to get that leadership position, or that manager, that supervisor, and it's super cool. I'm really excited. I actually didn't even go out and celebrate, let's go out for dinner and celebrate, because it was such a weird transition that I was like, okay, can I celebrate now, or do I wait, or is it now that it was not really clear from one day to the next. So I didn't really go out and be like, hey, cheers to getting this new role, until now. Finally, I feel like, okay, it's official now. They're gonna be my team. It's not temporary, because actually it started more of like, okay, this might be temporary, and after, I started taking, like, I took it really serious from the start. I was like, no, I don't want this to be temporary. I want this to be, a permanent thing. And I started, meeting with them and asking questions, and I went to like my boss's boss, and like I would meet with him. I would set short meetings, or just like see if he was just like not having a meeting or not busy. I would go and ask questions like, what is this, how am I going to do this, what else do we need, what is the budget, and things like that. And so they saw that I was really interested, and I was filling those gaps that sometimes, they were in a team that was shared. So I'm able to, focus on that, focus on my job, and I'm really excited about it. So it's more of like, okay, it's going to be permanent now. And I think that's what made it more like, I wasn't sure when to celebrate, and now it's more like permanent, like this is how it's gonna stay. So it's really exciting, and I'm really happy that I was able to show also that commitment that I had to the team. And yeah, so I might actually plan now an actual celebration of like, I have this role now. So anyways, I hope this information was useful, or you're happy to celebrate with me. If you have any questions about it, leave them in the comments. And yeah, probably as I get more questions, or as I get more settled and I have more actual like useful information, then I'll probably make like an update like, hey,